no dunk contest either. Are you almost happy about that?
I'm thrilled about it. We practice a really hard hour and 50, and we traditionally do that. And I think it hurts the boys with the dunking, and then the show flops, and it's not very impressive. The dunk contest in past years for us, so we've gone away from it.
Did you guys share what's a cool night for the fans with the women's program?
Yeah.
Here you are in this gym. You're used to standing underneath banners. There's 11 up there. I'm just wondering if you could share some thoughts on what all this means. That program's dominance.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's ridiculous. I guess like you just look at everything in the last 25, 30 years on the men's side, and how that's a couple more than what anyone's done in recent history, and then you look at Darren's 11 and the Olympians and the Hall of Famers, and it's like all of the a lot of it, like the most famous professional women's players of all time, WNBA players. It's incredible how many of them are UConn Huskies.
You're a little superstitious. Tonight's Friday the 13th. Does that make any difference to you, it being first night?
I like somebody will prank me and hit me with an egg out there or something like that. That was, I suggested, I think, to the marketing team to try to, this Friday the 13th, to try to make a Halloween theme on some of the social stuff put out there. So, I am creative and I am superstitious.
We're the biggest showman on this year's team.
This actually would have been a team maybe that we could have gone with the dunk thing. I think Solo's got some flair. Jay Ross has got some flair. Steph has got some flair. I think those three guys would have been. I mean, Donovan. Donovan loves this. I mean, Donovan. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to get out of his boot to walk out there, just because he's obviously healing well and he loves the moment.
Got another accessory there?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Timing's weird though, because you're obsessing over the current state of your team, and you're obsessing over whatever recruiting you still have going on, and while you're doing that, you then get your national championship ring from like 6 months ago. So it's an incredible moment. I think obviously we're on to 6.
Something you were really looking forward to is getting that ring.
This was probably like cutting down the nets, the White House invite and the ring. Like those are the ones that only the champions get. The big champions get it.
Coach, I know tonight's more of a show than anything, but what does it mean for you? Do you kind of just sit back and enjoy it?
Yeah, this is for me like the one time that I'll come into these packed arenas when we're involved in it, where I don't have the pressure to win. So this is about, I think, the fans, the student fans, our new players. This is like the team and the students and our fans, and their first kind of public introduction to them, and I'll just kind of lay back and soak it all in. It's a wake-up call too, like the first time you walk into Gamble and it's a little bit cold out, winter's coming, and then you get in there, you feel the electricity. So.
Do you like having the basketball capital of the world out there?
Yeah, I do. I love it. I love the basketball capital world on the court because it's accurate. If it was like delusional or inaccurate, I would have been against it. But the success on both sides with the national championships and the recent history, and the level of players, NBA, WNBA, we got the juice right now.
So Donovan's coming along well, you said?
Donovan looks good. He's right where we'd hoped he'd be. It's a long season. We'll take our time with him, but my only fear would be he's getting itchy to do the next thing, and he desperately wants to get out there. So we've got to, try to kind of protect him from himself.
So opening night is still the hope, but not a.
Yeah, I don't think anything's written in stone. It's just the symptoms. It's all about the symptoms, and then progressing him back. obviously the way we practice is unique. The pace, the tempo, the energy in it. So we're going to have to ease him back a little bit.
How do you envision using Steph this year? I mean, is he a point? Is he a two? Is he both? Do you play him and Tristan alongside each other a lot?
I think the vision is for Steph to do for us in terms of creating offense and facilitating in transition, or with the shooters and the finishers at center. But I think he'll take even more pressure off Tristan in terms of his his like ball handling responsibilities, and I could just put Tristan in positions to to be a little bit more like the guy at East Carolina for us. I think having two guys on playing next to Steph that can shoot, score, veterans Cam and Tristan. It's a great setup for them, and it's great for Steph, and obviously add Alex to that mix. Scoring, shooting, and finishers around a 6'6" guard that can really create. It could be great.
So he might not be a guy who scores 10, 12 a game. He might be, I guess, but more looking towards a facilitator type of player.
Yeah,
as
well,
much as anything.
I think he could do both.
Yeah.
He could finish at the rim, and because of his strength and athleticism, he's a big player. But I think the vision is to use him in a lot of ways like we did with Andre, in terms of getting on the defensive glass, pushing the ball, starting our transition. And when he has opportunities with the ball, there's going to be great driving lanes for him, or opportunities for him to spray the ball to shooters and finishers.
How do you describe the build of this year's team? Does it feel very similar to last year? Kind of.
I would say that just the way that we want to play and our confidence in how we're preparing for the season, in our style of play and the way we're practicing. I just think that overall the program has the confidence that champions take with them into that next season. So we feel like we have the potential to have a team that could get as far as we did last year, and it's a great feeling to go into the season like that. It's exactly where you want to be as the head coach at UConn, and when you're coaching at UConn and you're going into seasons where you don't feel like that, this feels a lot better.
You feel like you kind of have a blueprint as far as what it takes?
Yeah, we feel like we cracked the code offensively last year, and came up with addressed the part of the court that we needed to drastically improve at. So we're obviously doing new things based on the new personnel, and but ball movement, player movement, playing with great pace, push. We'd like to run more. We probably, the pace of play wasn't as fast as we liked it last year overall. Our efficiency was super high, so we made up for it. But we would like to play faster and keep building.
Has anyone stepped up in a leadership role? I know you can't replace Andre or Adama.
No, this is not like a public outcry to tweet at the boys about it or something, but we do. That's your one fear, is that when you hit a tough stretch like we did in January, and you had Andre Jackson in the locker room, you had Adama in the locker room, you had Hawk, who, although he was skinny as a dog, you had Joey in the locker room, you had Naheem in the locker room, who was quietly a pretty tough man. So that's your fear going into the season with this group. When you lose that much leadership, there's going to be a void there. But we need Tristan to care so much about what he could accomplish in 2 years at UConn, and Alex, and the returners Donovan, Hassan, Sampson, to really lead the way. They know what a championship program is supposed to sound like and how you're supposed to carry yourself.
Have you been in touch with Andre, Adama, Jordan, and just how are they adjusting to life in the NBA?
Yeah, the boys I think are the boys are all doing great. Their coaches love them. I think all three of them are obviously a coach's dream to work with. And it's cool to hear their NBA coaches talking about them in such positive light. So the guys are going through it. It's like the adjustment from high school to UConn. Now there's an adjustment from UConn to the NBA. but they're all going to have great careers.
Do you have any thoughts on Dame getting traded to the Bucks?
I mean, I was made aware that like Andre's between like him and the Greek Freak. So I mean, like, how awesome is that? And I know they all love him there because he's like the greatest guy you'll ever coach, and their whole organization already knows him.
Nights like tonight do anything for the freshmen as far as getting kind of broken into the sold out kind of atmosphere and things like that?
Yeah, I think they're gonna, it's gonna be one of those you know what moments, right? Like where you get out there, wow, it's like they obviously came to these events as a recruit, but now they announce your name and you just hope you don't fall, and you hope you picked a cool song, and if you're a good dancer, you don't want to embarrass yourself if you do something whack, because then we'll all make fun of them too. They'll get mocked on social and then we'll mock them. So.
Well, Andrew had a good song a couple of years ago, right? I thought it was Backstreet Boys or something like that.
Yeah, they were asking me about my song. I never gave them a song. I gave you a song, but I should have just went with that song.
That's a good song.
So you don't have a song?
I at least I know somebody's gonna pick one. I gave him a couple bands, I think 90s bands or something. Stone Temple Pilots and Looks like those.